Okay, everybody, great to be here again to talk about the Pink Dial project, and we are delighted to be joined by Tom today from Airain. It's great to have you with us, Tom, to talk about your incredibly generous contribution to the Pink Dial project. So thank you for joining Summit and I. And
thanks
Tom,
for having me.
it's great to finally meet you and to talk to you, albeit digitally. Hopefully, at some point we can meet in person.
Yeah.
Tom, it'd be great maybe if you could just tell us a little bit about the brand and how you came to be involved. And because I know the brand's got a very storied past and history, and we'd love for you to share some of that with us, please, if you would.
Yeah, sure. So Airain, as it is officially pronounced, but it's also often pronounced as...
I think I just pronounced it wrongly.
Yeah, it's okay. I keep doing it myself sometimes as well. So Airain is actually our second brand in our umbrella company, so to say. We are still a startup, so it sounds larger than it is, but the other brand is Le Bon Co. that was revived in 2014. And we added Airain in 2020. And the cool thing is about this brand is that, first of all, it's a sister brand, originally a sister brand of our first brand. So they are brought actually back together now. And Airain was one of the 7 suppliers to the French army for Type 20 chronographs in the 1950s and 60s. So these watches, the Type 20 watches, were actually worn by pilots, and in the case of Airain, by helicopter pilots on their missions and trainings, etc., as a daily tool watch. So that's pretty cool.
Oh, amazing. So you reached out to us to talk about Pink Dial project, and you've actually taken one of your watches and created a unique piece based on your watch. Could you maybe talk us through that, please?
Yeah, well, first of all, I think it's amazing what you're doing here. And immediately when I saw this project, I thought this is great. I mean, fighting breast cancer is very important. Maybe in the COVID situation, a lot of diseases got a little bit in the shadow, but hopefully with COVID more and more under control, we can go back to fighting other diseases as well. And I just see around me that breast cancer still disrupts and strikes too many lives around the world. So kudos to your project, first of all. And seeing that project, I immediately envisioned a cool, like soft pink dialed Type 20 in front of me, because at that time we were very much in the process of development for the new Type 20, and we actually had the possibility to include it in our production schedule because the watches are still in production. They're not finished yet, only as prototypes at this moment. So that was in my opinion, a great opportunity for your project and for us.
Fantastic. Hey, Tom, first, before I ask you my first question, it's important to, again, thank you for this contribution, because I know we understand that you're actually in the process of doing the Type 20 for the brand as a production piece. Yeah. And given the sort of historical connotation there, this is a very important milestone for you and as well for the brand. And it does us a lot of good to know that, you took time out to produce one piece out of an entire production line for us. It's really amazing, and we can't thank you enough for that.
You're very, very welcome. Yeah.
The funny thing is, like, the world is as much as we've not been traveling and not seeing one another. Funny how friendships work, and the introduction in your case was made through Robert Jan, a very good friend of ours. And then even more so, what fascinates me is that the minute we had a conversation with you, in the 5 lines worth of an email, you had already imagined what the watch would look like. And that really, really amazes us, because as much as there is an idea in the title of the auction and there's a small brief, but the brand's our brands and our friends from the brands, the way that they really took it to themselves and created this magnificent sort of interpretation of everything that the project is about, and as well the brand is about, is fascinating to me. Could you maybe tell us how quickly that kind of clicked in your mind, and why you were so inspired to put two and two together as quickly as you did?
Yeah, well, of course, it went fast. I have to admit, we immediately jumped on the idea. But however, I must admit, finding the right pink was a real challenge. So I think we've virtually tried every pink color with our designer. That being in the COVID situation, he's in Switzerland, I'm in the Netherlands. So we tried different dial colors and loom configurations. I think one was called bubblegum pink and flamenco pink, lemonade, even ballet slipper pink. So, but in the end, I envisioned the watch to be like more soft pink, not as bubblegummy as we first tried. So it's more shell pink peach, I guess. I think the watch has to be elegant as well. I mean, pink is cool and it's fun, but it also has to be to be able to be a piece that can be worn actually. So and that was my main objective for this watch.
You know, as Ross and I are sort of assembling the catalog as we speak, what's funny is that when we look at the entire sort of a collection of watches that make up Pink Dial for the year, it's funny how like it's definitely all pink and elements of pink on the different watches, but it's all a little different shades of pink. Yeah. And there the thing to learn is that not all shades of pink work for every single watch.
No, true. Yeah.
So yeah, and therein I guess we completely understand and appreciate the trouble that you went through to find the right pink for the watch in question. Maybe it's important to understand sort of the association that the brand actually has, historically speaking, with this storied watch that is the Type 20, because I think the fact of the matter is that I think the Type 20 today is really just associated with one brand that has shouted about it above the crowd.
I don't know which brand I did. No, yeah, it's true, of course. But for a lot of people, it seems that way. But there are actually a lot of other brands that still make Type 20s, including Dodane and Auricoste. So we are not alone, and also Perrier was not alone. It's just that, of course, that's a much bigger brand, and it's more known. And maybe they even made the most watches. I don't know. Maybe Dodane actually did. So, for us, when we decided to revive Airain and to add it to our portfolio, so to say, we went through also the digital catalogs that are online from collectors around the world. Okay, which watch would be cool to start with? And behind me there's this cool diver watch, the Submarine. It's also an amazing watch, and it's really on the short list. But the Type 20 has something so special because it was actually worn by pilots and was I mean, it was good looking back then as well, just as now, but it was actually a tool that they used with the flyback function that had a purpose. And I think that's cool, and that's also exactly what we wanted to add into this new piece. I mean, it's in almost every detail. It matches the original piece. It's slightly bigger, not just to match more modern standards, but also because the movements are a little bit more big. But further, it is almost like the original, with the plexiglass on it, and the flyback function, of course, the flyback complication.
So maybe just two questions before we sort of bring this time to a close. Number one is that you were sharing that you are going to be producing a production version of this watch. Could you maybe share with us some sneak peek of this?
Sure. Yeah. Well, actually, we are already sold out on the brown limited edition. So, and that's also distributed to different journalists around the world. And here is this brown limited edition piece. I don't know if the zoom is okay, but and those are already sold out. We're also making this normal version, the black dialed version of the Type 20, and both of them are going into production now, and will be delivered in the beginning of 2022. We're actually waiting for the fixed production schedule to arrive now.
That's fantastic. So really the last question before we sort of bring this time to a close is then, Tom, 2020 was a very strange year for all of us all around. I'm sure you'll agree as well.
Yeah.
But I think it was a time for recognition for a lot of us that it is important to be, even though we are in the industry where we produce an object of luxury, it is also important to think about how we can therefore use our place of influence to also give back to the community around us.
True.
So for you, why is that important?
Well, first of all, we being a startup, it's not yet easy to give back a lot. I mean, we are building, and it costs a lot of money. But 2020 made us realize again how vulnerable mankind is, and at the same time how resilient and strong we can be, as long as we work together and are willing to move into that same direction. And we noticed that we got even closer to our customers, albeit digitally, of course, and not just sales talk. I mean, personal stuff as well. And apart from contributing a watch in to your great cause and in this way, we think it is such a cool thing to be a more personal brand, and so that's a different outcome, as at least from what we expected in a few years ago.
So thanks, Tom. We really appreciate your heart and the donation that you've made towards the Dial project. As you know, we're kicking off the entire process of putting everything out there in a few days. It's so excited to have you on board for this. And as well, I understand that the launch of your next Type 20 is sort of coinciding with the launch of our PR lineup.
No, sorry. That we have to. I think we have to.
So that's
okay.
Okay. All right. That's my apologies, man.
No, I think we are going to cut it. I guess. Because that was an email from a while ago when our pre-orders would start, but they are already.
Okay. My apologies. Okay, no, so maybe I'll just do that one more time if you don't mind. Yeah. So Tom, thank you so much for your time this morning your time, afternoon mine, and really just thank you one more time as well for your kind contribution towards the Pink Dial project, and we look forward to many more great things from both your brands actually, and
thank you.
Possibly even working closer together with you in the future.
Cool, thanks, appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Great to meet you. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye guys.
Bye.